I'm trying to find the sine of pi over 12. This is going to have to be a difference formula, because otherwise I've got to take two angles that are smaller than pi over 12 and add them together. And if you think about where pi over 12 is on the unit circle, you don't have angles that are smaller than that, at least known angles. So I'm looking for two angles whose difference is pi over 12. So here's what I'm going to do. Pi over 12 is equal to, so I'm going to try to get something over 12 here, like let's say 4 pi over 12 minus 3 pi over 12. And I know that 4 pi over 12 is pi over 3. And I know that 3 pi over 12 is pi over 4. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to find differences that give me this guy right here. And I'm usually looking for numbers over 12 that are 1 apart. And that will reduce to known angles. So we know these angles. That's the idea. So what are we going to do with this? Well, we're going to say that the sine of pi over 12 is equal to the sine of pi over 3 minus pi over 4. And so this is the sine of pi over 3 times the cosine pi over 4 minus the cosine pi over 3 sine pi over 4. So our sine value at pi over 3 is square root of 3 over 2. And our cosine value of pi over 4 is root 2 over 2. Cosine at pi over 3 is, oops, is that what I just, yeah, no, that's 1/2. That's right. And then the sine at pi over 4 is root 2 over 2. So this is going to give me square root 6 over 4 minus root 2 over 4. So this will give me square root 6 minus square root 2 all over 4. So let's check that. Well, first, so let's just mention this. First, square root of 6 is bigger than square root of 2. And so when you take their difference, you're going to end up with a positive value over 4, which is positive. So this is telling me that the sine value should be positive. If you look at the unit circle, a sine value, so pi over 12 is a very small angle. Okay, so its sine value, or its height, the height value on this thing should be small. So this number should not be very large. So let's check out what that number is. So we've got the square root of 6 minus the square root of 2. So I'm getting 1.03, and I want to divide that thing by 4. So I'm getting 0.26 roughly. If we actually take the sine value at pi over 12, so let's take pi, divide it by 12, and then let's take the sine value of that angle, we get 0.2588, so 0.26. So we get the same exact value back out. So this thing checks.